Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Tex-Trek first reaction stream. I'm Rachel, if everyone wants to go around and introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm
Hi.
Braxton.
Oh, hi, I'm Marcelo. I'm a YouTuber, a podcaster, and a writer.
I'm Stanley. I'm gay. I don't know what else to say.
Love it. Great introduction.
Great. So yeah, I guess does everyone want to go around and say what they thought of this episode? The I need to double. I don't know why I keep forgetting to look up the episode titles before I start these things.
It's
Face
called
the Strange.
it's
Is that
that's it. Face the Strange.
hmm
I thought this
that
was
is a good title?
I thought this was a super fun episode. I'm
Mhm.
loving this 32nd century tech. The little time bug. I was like, ooh, like what is that? And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well that's cool. And then it's gonna like take us on a time jumping adventure. It was really nice to see Arium. Um,
Mm-hmm.
book like showing us all the beef this week. Like, oh man. I thought that this was a really good episode. I thought that it was well written. I really
Mm-hmm.
liked the team the team building between Michael and her new first officer. Like I wasn't liking him, and then like him and Michael, like they were like team building, and then like he and then like the payoff of like when he was in the last episode, I think it was 2 episodes ago, when he was asking the crew about themselves, and he was like, oh, okay, you got like 30 seconds to like tell me something about yourself that's like not work related,
Mm-hmm.
and like that came back this week. um I thought that this was a really great episode. I smiled a whole lot. The fight between the Michaels was like next level and
That
epic.
was great.
I thought this was a great episode.
No, I enjoyed this episode a lot. I was not expecting anything from this episode because I didn't know the title, and I watched it a lot later than everyone else. And usually, when new episodes air on the week, I try to stay off social media. So, I was very
Mm-hmm.
surprised that this was a time travel, a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey episode, and I really love how we got to go through kind of different eras of discovery, but seeing them through a different lens. And also, I really liked the chemistry between Burnham and her new first officer. I'm forgetting his name right
Rayner.
now. Thank you, Rayner.
Yeah.
Um, I I I really liked him from his first appearance. Not a lot of other folks did from my recollection, but I really like how in this episode he's sort of settling in and he's sort of getting used to his new normal. Although at the beginning of this episode, I threw half a fit when he sort of disobeyed Michael's orders on the bridge and she had to, take him to her ready room to sort of straighten things out. I thought that was completely improper of a first officer.
Mm-hmm.
And with him being a former captain or a captain, he should have known better. So that's the only part of the episode where I'm like, you should have known better, and you should have actually realized the error of your ways. You don't dictate terms on a ship where you're not first in command. You don't do that. So that really bugged me. But like I said, the timey wimey stuff of this episode really played well with me. To move to Braxton's point there,
Mm-hmm.
I loved the fight between the two Michaels. I thought it was amazing. Also, I liked what our Michael said to past Michael when she gave her the Vulcan nerve pinch. She said something basically to the effect of, "I know things are hard right now, but they'll always get better. They'll get better eventually." And I really liked her giving her past self that amount of hope.
Mm-hmm. It's a really
Yeah.
sweet moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Okay.
loved this episode too. I thought it was super fun. Um, it's interesting because of the filler discussion that happened on Twitter
Mm-hmm.
lately. I think this might qualify depending on what your particular definition of the word might be, but I thought in the best way of the term, because it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily move the main plot forward too much, but we get a really lovely and organic exploration of our new first officer, a new character this season with
Hmm.
Michael and with the crew. And that's something like I love Discovery, but they have struggled in some of the past seasons with like sort of shoehorning in some emotional moments and some stuff like spoiler alert for later in the episode, Arium, for example,
Hmm.
in season 2. And so I thought they did an incredible job of making this new character um, matter right now, not feel like a distraction for the season long story. And then they got to use some fun, timey-wimey stuff in a new, interesting 32nd century way with
Yeah.
a Krenim Easter egg. And I liked seeing all of the different timelines and how they were intersecting with each other. Stamets being able to recognize, yeah, I used to be an asshole, and
Yeah.
lots of fun moments in this episode. And as always, visuals were lovely. Although I will say, my one my one of few critiques I have of this episode is I wish we could actually see the Breen ship better. It's a long standing frustration of mine is the ships in Star Trek Discovery are often hard to see, and
Hmm.
the
That's
Breen
fair.
ship in that one scene it looked potentially very cool, and so I would have loved more detail, but
I
loved the episode
almost
overall
see. I almost wondered if they were purposely keeping it kind of dark because they're going to do a
for
bigger reveal
later.
with it later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong on that. That was just my thought. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. I also love this episode. Uh, I thought this episode was great. It was like in the best way possible. It really reminded me of the Voyager episode Shattered, of them like going through like the best of in the last season of the show.
It's the best way to do a clips episode, right?
Yeah, where you're
Love
actually
it.
getting new, like if you're gonna do a clip show, do it in the most expensive way possible and have new
Yes.
characters show up.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love Shattered. Ironically,
yeah.
I do not like Chakotay that much, and I
Hmm.
actively dislike Robert Beltran. But that is one of my
Hmm.
favorite Voyager episodes. Even though it is a Chakotay episode, it's really great
That's
acting on his
fair.
part.
That's
Really fun
a great
story,
episode.
and I got those vibes with
Yeah.
today's episode too.
I also basically all of you. I thought it was a really good way of getting Rayner like up to speed on things and like like as a part of the crew without being like let's just do a bunch of moments with him with people. And it was like just some of his reactions where he's just like, yeah, because he has Tardigrade DNA. He's just at a time, and Ranger's just like, what the hell? Like, um, I also, I just want to point out, I genuinely really want to hear from the makeup team or whoever made the people look like they looked in season one, because I genuinely have witchcraft questions about,
Yes,
particularly Tilly and Michael.
yes,
Yeah. Because I didn't want to say it because I was like, Mary Wiseman doesn't look like that anymore. So how did they do that?
Yeah. I mean, like, hair wise, I would say Sonequa Martin Green also doesn't look like that anymore. Like,
Hmm.
that was a long time ago when they filmed season one.
Mm.
Um, and it wasn't just their hair. Like, both of their, like, they, like somehow I was like, oh, Michael's facial structure looks like it did in season one, and I don't understand how they, like, how I'm noticing the difference, but, like, I couldn't tell you what they did to her to do that.
Did season one come out in like 2017?
Something like that. I would
I
have
thought,
to.
I thought it was like 2019 or something. Somebody would have to check that. The other thing, the only thing that the only thing that I wish they would have done from a fan aspect with this episode, that they, given the fact that they were going to so many time periods, I
Mhm.
really would have wished that they would have gone back to the Vulcan Hello and gave us Prime Giorgio and have
But that
Kirk
wasn't on.
have
No one was on Discovery
right.
there.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, that's true. That's
That
true.
was. Oh, so
Hmm.
that
But
ship. They weren't on the. They were on the Shenzhou. Did I?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
the Shinzo, but that's just the fan of me going. If you're doing a
Yeah.
timey wimey episode, why don't you just do this? But Rachel made a great point there. That would make sense because they were on a completely
Yeah.
different ship.
I did appreciate that they just did one mention of Lorca and didn't just keep bringing him up like they did in that one Mirror Universe thing that made me convinced that I was about to see Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, that scene
Um,
was definitely that was like a there were there was the 6 month period between
uh,
Battle of the Binary Stars and
mhm.
I think the third episode was Context for Kings. And
Yeah.
so that scene must have taken place with somewhere within that 6 months for
Or
Lorca and
like
Saru to be off on a away mission together.
no, because I don't because Michael's already on the ship. If if Michael's in jail for that all of that 6 months.
Right.
So I think he's just on an away mission with it's so it's before Landry dies because they mentioned that she's with them.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
it's they're two characters we probably couldn't get the actors back for, and
Yeah.
then Saru. We didn't want to put Doug Jones to makeup um, for the scene. It was, and I because I was talking to someone about why they probably couldn't get him because season 5 was filmed right after season 4, and I assumed they were still filming under travel restrictions. So they probably it probably was physically impossible to get Jason Isaacs there. I guess any
How
other big scenes that people like?
I
eh,
I really like the scene when we first get introduced to Stamets in this episode, and it
mhm.
happens to be right after he gets blown to
Yeah,
bits nearly by the
by control.
by the panel exploding,
Yeah,
and as Culver's trying to knock him
mhm.
out, he's trying to get up and try and assess what is happening, and he calls the computer Zora, but he's like, oh, Zora's not here yet.
Yeah.
I love that short interaction by
Hmm.
Stamets
I also love
and
that.
Paul. It's just a
I
great
also
scene.
love that it's his boyfriend being like, "Oh, he's high on something." Like
Yeah,
he's
he's high
just
on something.
I really want the duo that we're after. I really
hmm
want them to die. Like I don't
Oh
know, they're
yeah, they're
just like
gonna die.
around,
yeah.
like they're like poisoning people
I want
now.
that wig to die. I'm fine with
We,
them living, but that wig needs to die.
See,
That every sci-fi franchise wig, I'm over it.
yeah.
I feel like
It's funny because I was talking
How
to
can you guys
someone.
sell wigs? I'm sorry, Rachel.
Oh, I mean that I say that it's just like I would imagine that's a wig. Honestly, it's just because the bleach blonde someone's hair that blonde is like hard. Like
Marcelo gays no wigs.
yeah,
Okay.
We see
I
them with frequency.
Yeah, you see
grown up
them
theater
from a
kids know
mile
wigs.
away.
That's what I've had. I like their Bonnie and Clyde thing, and I have noticed that it seems to be like, oh, they seem to be trying to do a thing where they're only killing people who have done them wrong in some way.
Hmm.
So far, like Fred tried to renege on their deal. That guy that they were saying that person had sold drugs to the Emerald Chain, which had like hurt them in the past. But I digging like not and I want them Midway, but I'm kind of digging the Bonnie and Clyde thing. I think it's
Hmm.
a fun duo to watch.
I think that the guy is better than the woman. Like I feel like somehow like she's gonna like die, and then he's gonna just like go straight. He'd be like, oh yeah, like she was like super toxic and like
See, I don't
encouraging
know
me to do like all these terrible things.
because they're bothering setting her up for having like some kind of backstory with Book, so I feel like that's gonna be important, but they haven't gone back to that yet.
Mm,
She's
mm,
gonna turn. I think she's gonna turn. So at some point this season, I think she's gonna end up working with Michael and and our beloved crew. And I believe that the whole reason that they're after this artifact is for a specific reason because they've said previously that they only want the artifact for money and financial
Yeah.
gain, and I don't think that's it. I think that Locke is actually sick, and that's why they're so desperate. Even though in this
mm.
episode,
Maybe.
before she sucked face with him, she said that um, once we find this MacGuffin, we'll be free and they can't get to us. I think that's a bunch of malarkey, if you ask me.
You said
Maybe.
that you said you think she's sick.
He's sick.
Oh, he's sick.
Okay.
Oh,
He's
really?
sick. Yeah, yeah. I'm
I
kind of
think this is a
I'm kind
theory.
of
I don't think there's
yeah.
anything
No,
confirmed on
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's nothing confirming about that. That's just my theory.
Yeah. Maybe
Mm.
I could see that. Although I did notice their kiss. I'm assuming they did the kiss so you couldn't see his lips at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, his lips can't move that way,
And why
can
aren't
they?
they
In that
doing that
makeup.
for Saru and Tarina? Damn it! I want Vulcan Kelpian intimacy.
Yeah.
Tasteful,
Yeah.
but intimacy.
Tasteful, thank you.
Yeah.
Tasteful, thank you for putting that in there because I was like, I don't know if I really want to see that.
Yeah, I agree. Again, tasteful. It's Star Trek, not of the things I watch. It's Star Trek. It's not Bridgerton. I have other things to watch for that.
As
But
Will
I
said on the salon a few weeks ago, we got Klingon titties in season 1. They could give us some romance in season 5.
that
You
is
know,
fair.
so tell me, like, so when Michael told Book that I love you back, like, do you think she really meant it, or do you think she just like said that because,
I
like,
think
well, for expediency?
I think she did mean. It seems like to me that she meant it, but it hurt
Mhm.
her to admit that she did mean it.
Mm.
I think it's foreshadowing them getting back together because I remember
Yeah.
back in episode 1, I predicted one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to get back together, or it's fully confirmed we did not work out. Whatever, we're just besties.
Mhm.
Blah. He's going to get a field commission and become first officer or whatever. I'm hoping they don't do that. I would rather they just get back together. But
Same.
this
I think
this felt like get back together vibes.
Yeah,
Mm.
same.
if they get
Agreed.
back together, I think s- the their preamble to them getting back together is going to be at a wedding, and that wedding is going to be between Tarina and Saru.
That would
Because
be extremely cute, and I like
yeah,
that.
yeah, we need a wedding. You know, Stan said we need some romance. I need a wedding. We need a wedding. We need a reason to drink.
That would be really cute.
Yeah.
I and it was like it's what's funny, what I do find interesting is like I can't tell how much of this episode though is like footage from past episodes. Like in some, I was like,
Mm.
I'm assuming some of it probably is, but like it's done so well I can't tell.
Do you think that the version of Michael Burnham is sort of like I mean sounds I feel kind of dumb saying it because I know how film is actually done. Do you think that like the 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 two Burnhams are like some really sophisticated camera tricks, or do you think that they found some way to actually do that?
I mean, I'm sure it's some camera tricks when you see her face, but I bet it's like her stand-in or her stunt double,
Mm,
especially during the fighting scene. Like, why wouldn't you use her stunt double?
right.
Mm. Mm.
But I'm betting it's a mix of things.
Mm.
Like this is me guessing from me knowing how they filmed Orphan Black, where they generally did have an actress playing that resembled Tatiana Maslany acting against her for a lot of it, and then she would sometimes have to act against a tennis ball.
Hmm. That's
They
a
did
great
that
show.
so well.
Yeah.
It's great.
I haven't been able to watch the Ready Room today, but I'm like scanning it on mute to see because this is exactly the kind of behind the scenes thing. Yep,
I haven't had time today
there
either.
is there is a something or other. What's it called? There is a package in here that's
About
called Burnham versus Burnham. So
that would be interesting.
yeah,
Mm. So
so
who's on the
we
Okay.
Ready
can
Room
Here
be
this
we
week?
go.
answers another
Thanks,
time.
Joel. Stunt
It's
Double was in the Ready Room this week talking about this. Okay.
Yay! Great.
Oh wow,
Yay.
that's very
okay.
cool. I want to
Yeah.
watch
Yeah, I would
that.
imagine
I
they did the dot thing on her
probably.
face.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it was a face replacement deal. Okay. Oh, and Anthony Rapp is on the Ready Room this week, Braxton.
Mhm.
Oh, very cool. You know,
Nice.
it was we needed a Stamets episode. Like I feel
Yeah.
like he was
And a
missing
good
for the
one
first few
too.
episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I really
Mm.
love the acknowledging how far Stamets has come, especially
I
like
oddly
Rayner
I found
looking.
myself liking Stamets in this episode, and I don't like Stamets. I think he's a more affable asshole post season 1, but since season 1, I was like, man, this guy's just kind of a dick. And
Or
that's an
I,
in-universe thing. Anthony Rapp is
I lo-
delightful, but
Yeah.
yeah, especially season 4, I'm just like, man, he's just kind of a mopey dick. And this season, he at least has a reason. It's not like, oh, this other scientist isn't talking to me. It's
Mhm.
my life's work is getting shut down.
Yeah.
And this episode was him acknowledging his past, him like having stuff go on. It was really nice.
We got a lot of
Yeah.
Tig this week
We
as well.
did.
It was
I'm
Mm.
nice.
so used to just only having one scene with her. When she had a second scene, I was like, more?
Yeah.
I also loved that when she was like, "Are you in a time loop?" Lol, and I was like, "This would be his second time in a time loop if he was."
Yes.
And I,
yeah.
I would love him being like, "No, I know how to handle that because I've done that one
Mm.
before."
Yeah, I felt like it was really good material for Tig this week too. It was the right
Mhm.
amount of Tig, and it was really
Yeah,
good material for her.
Mhm.
I did like,
Balancing her very different vibe. I think
yeah,
it, it kind of knocks me out of the fantasy of the Trek world in some of the past episodes. Although I love her, Tig Notaro
Mhm.
is incredible. But a few
Mhm.
moments in season 4 in particular kind of pulled me out of it. Like she even jokes when she's doing interviews that like she's not acting on the show. It is Tig in space,
Yeah.
but Tig in space in this episode was the right amount and the right
Mhm.
material to really add to it.
I both times I watched this episode found myself laughing at like when she comes out and Burnham's like, "Ah, I've got to hide," and just like runs away and is like, "Sorry, Rayner, she doesn't know you."
That's a really great point because they gave, I'm glad you brought that up. Sonequa got to be funny in this episode. Like when she says surprise to
Yeah.
the San Francisco Fleet Yard worker,
Mhm.
like she's an incredible actress and she's been given a lot of really deep emotional stuff to do in this series, but she hasn't been
Yeah.
able to be funny that often. And it was really, really lovely to see because she is
Yeah.
really funny.
I know in like I remember at some point watching a panel being like, "Oh, she's way funnier," because the only thing that I'd seen her in like before Discovery was like The Walking Dead, which is, it's The Walking Dead. Like I yeah, and I think it does show, even if like Discovery's never had enough time to show that like Michael knows the crew really well now. It does like it did, I think, do a good job of like showing, not telling us that.
Yeah,
Um,
Michael has always been really, really subtly serious, and it
mhm.
was nice in this episode to see her put her head down for a little moment and be sort of funny. The only other time that I remember her be really that I remember her being really funny is when she was high.
Yeah.
In the
Mhm.
season 3 premiere when the when
She makes fun of
uh
Book's name. Mm.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, the Romulans give her that gas that makes her say the truth, but in a funny way. Um,
And
so yeah.
I love that Linus just doesn't seem to recognize her.
Also, Linus, well, no, I think he recognized her, but that he was surprised that her hair was different.
Yeah.
And then he has that line when he says, "Red is your color." And he says
Yeah.
it in just the right way. I don't know the
Yeah.
Saurian culture, but I got queer Linus vibes today and I
I
loved it.
I was here for
agreed.
it too. I
Loved it.
totally got it.
But
Yeah,
All right.
apparently Linus has been there since the beginning. We just
Mhm.
didn't see him till season 2.
Yeah, every
I
time I see Linus pop up or be a part of the crew, I always get this amazing sense of joy because the first time that I ever saw him was in season 2, and I was like enamored with him
Mhm.
from the get go. And even if you guys watch the blooper reel
Oh yeah.
for season 2, when they go into the elevator, if you guys have seen it, the actor who plays Linus sneezes and his teeth fall out. And they filmed it at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And Sneeko Martin Green and everybody behind her loses their minds. And it must be like 2 o'clock or 2 or 3
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning. It's like,
Yeah, I've seen that blooper. It's great. I
yeah.
would yeah, I did love um I was glad somebody mentioned her hair because I was like, someone's going to mention the fact that she's done all of a sudden has a hairstyle that famously takes hours to complete.
You
Like
know, maybe, gosh, maybe I wonder if like there's like a replicator or something that could like do your hair in the
for her
future.
braids, that'd be
Like,
great. Like
The 32nd
you know,
century is less racist than current day, so I think black hair
that's
is
good.
probably
Hmm.
easier to do, and
Yeah,
it not problematic like it is on most sets. Although that is thankfully
yeah.
changing with the new contract.
Hmm. I was, like I've always been impressed by just compared to other shows how like Sonequa Martin Green's hair on the many different styles it's had always looks good.
Hmm.
yeah, she always has some bad braids, dude. Her and Owo, dude.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love it,
And it
dude.
was like it just similar in that she has a text like Mary Wiseman's curls always look good, and I that is not always the case with people on set with
yeah.
natural curls.
With all three of them, I bet it's really interesting the conversation around continuity with different takes. Is like
Hmm.
when she takes the punch and her braids just go everywhere.
Yeah.
It looked so good.
Oh,
Hmm.
wasn't that
And
good there, dude? Oh yeah.
yeah. And like, but like, I would imagine like, all right, let's do it again. Oh, wait, were the braids on this side? Like, were
Yeah.
some of them on this? It would, oh, I love it. I also love that like everybody just sort of accepted her uniform. Like
Yeah.
there's so many, like it's one of the, how do I say this? It's one of those idiosyncrasies of Star Trek that I love where like there's something that does not make sense and I
Hmm.
need one line of dialogue to make it make sense. There, like in every show, there is something in almost every episode. Like how many
Yeah.
shuttles does Voyager have, etc. But with this, everybody's just like, yeah, there are a bunch of uniforms in Starfleet. She's wearing this one today. What's like four
Yeah.
pips? Okay, she's a captain. Listen
Yeah.
to her. I don't recognize it, but just go with it.
Who says it? Who says it in this episode? Because like everyone, like probably everyone else says, I've only seen this episode once. So who says that in this episode to say that oh everybody wears different uniforms and just let it go? Like who
Oh, I
says that
think
line in this episode?
I don't think anyone says that line. Just no one comments on it.
Oh, okay.
You're a
I
captain.
don't mean, yeah,
Fascinating.
nobody said that. That's just
Yeah.
like my own head canon is people just
Oh, that's
accept.
your head
I
canon.
wonder if
Okay.
Yeah.
they're like in their mind because like I wonder if they think it's like because there is red uniforms in the like the Enterprise apparently has red uniforms at this time, and they're just like it's probably just one of those.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, they're just like I don't know, and I don't care at this point. There's two Michaels. That's way more fascinating than the fact
Lots
that
of
someone has a
pips and
different
lots of
uniform.
gripes.
And to be fair, she comes in and says I'm from the future, so they're probably just like okay. They change the uniforms every 3 years in this universe for some reason.
Also, I really like what they did with Arium in this episode.
Hmm.
As someone who didn't like what they did with Arium's death, I feel like in this episode, the writers' room kind of gave me a personal,
Hmm.
like, kind of we're sorry and we're gonna make you feel better about it. You may not you listen. You may not overall like that decision because of the way that we handled her, but I feel like in this episode they gave me a little bit more understanding of Ariam's thought process when she could have made when she made that decision to sacrifice herself for her crewmates. I feel like they gave her much needed character development in this episode that they didn't in the episode when they made her make that life and death situation.
Hmm.
So
I really enjoyed seeing her again, and I think it was just nice to have a nice moment with her that we wasn't like because the one nice moment you got was that episode where you're like, why are all of a sudden they giving Arium a lot to do? Something bad's about to happen to Arium. Whereas I already
yeah,
know something bad happened to
We,
Arium. So
we see her without her cybernetics having a
yeah.
lovely marriage. We just got married. Like, oh, girl, she's
Oh,
gonna
oh girl,
die.
you're
like
gonna die.
you're in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like one of those
It
that
was nice
Simpson
seeing
meme,
her
like, haha,
again.
I'm in danger.
And
Mm.
it was the second actress, right?
I believe so. I
Yeah,
believe
I
it
not
think
was
not to
the
be a
second.
robotist or
Yeah.
whatever, but I could not tell the difference when the actress changed.
Me either.
I'm assuming it's the second actress. If anyone would like to correct me, but say I mean to be fair, they tried to make her look the same. It's not like
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's not like all robots look the same to me.
yeah. I can tell Brent Spiner apart from other people.
Yeah, why was Data in this episode?
Thank you. Apparently, it was season 2 actress.
Yeah.
I and I definitely find yeah, and it was I liked that it was Ariam who's like, no, I would do that. Like, I would totally would sacrifice myself if it came down to that.
Yeah.
I did kind of like it wouldn't like obviously they couldn't do this. I wanted it to be like, by the way, your captain sucks. Don't
Right.
trust that motherfucker.
There was some fun technobabble explaining how like if they were successful in what they were doing in that specific jump, nothing would
fine.
fuck up the timeline.
Yeah.
But it would have been kind of like it would not have worked. It would have been way out of place, but it would have been absolutely hilarious to be like, oh, and by the way, Captain Lorca's from the Mirror Universe. You don't know what that is yet, but get ready.
But oh, it's like, by the way, Lorca's evil. Bye.
Energize.
What now? You said what?
No, it reminds me of there's a couple episodes of The Flash like this now, but episode of The Flash where they go back to season 1 where someone is like an evil version of themselves and they're just like, and let's avoid that man because we can't mess with this.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of when Rayner and Burnham went forward and they met Zora, and apparently the ship had been in standby mode for years. Everybody on the ship had died. What did you guys think of that?
I think that
all that people dust.
Yeah, the people dust.
I know I liked that scene, and I loved how sweet Michael was to Zora. Mm-hmm. Like, it was genuinely like really sweet the way she was talking to her when she was like, oh, and I love that they like very much treat Zora like Zora's a person. And I'm very sad she had to like sit here like this. But I believe that is our confirmation of what Calypso is, right? She said, was I dreaming again?
Yeah.
Right.
And they've telegraphed that in other episodes too, including season 4.
I believe that's the only way to make Calypso make sense at this point with how they've gone with Discovery.
And what a lovely dream.
Yeah. It was a nice dream. She got a hot boyfriend. It's great. Good for Zora.
So, but you guys don't actually think that the series is going to end with leading up to Calypso, right?
No, not at this point. Okay. I think they are going. I have no confirmation on this whatsoever. I think they're going to leave it in a way they can do Discovery movies if they want to. Probably like made for streaming movies, but I think Discovery will still be intact so they can use the ship.
Okay.
I was thinking one thing that they could have done in this episode, like I thought, oh, this is what's going to happen, and then I was immediately wrong. When they were in the scene inside the wormhole, I was thinking, oh, maybe they accidentally do something that like knocks the ship into something that makes a quantum duplicate, and then that one goes 2,000 years into the future. But that would have been
Calypso in that.
Yeah, but that would have been so convoluted to make sense. Like the amount of headcanon that probably would have taken would have been oof. Yes.
But yeah, I think Calypso is too it's like too weird of an ending to have because I think they're going to want to try and use this crew again in some way.
Right. No, but
it would also just be weird to say, hey, this thing we did 4 years ago, we're
stuck telling you for no reason.
Yeah. It would be a weird thing to do to the current writers' room and the whole production team. Be like
something that it was part of. It wasn't even on this show technically. It was on Short Treks.
Right. Like, no, but I'm not. Just to be clear, I'm not advocating for that. Yeah. But if I were to do
Marcelo?
it, I would.
How dare you?
I tried to back up, Stan. I'm trying to back up. No, but look. All I'm saying is a nice tip of the cap would be like to have the regular ending, right? My wedding per se, because it's my idea. And then like have the credits roll, and before the credits stop playing, you show one quick scene of Calypso just for the fans, you know.
But, I think it's also Calypso was very well done. I think of the first 4 Short Treks, I think it was like the best done. So people
it was the best
like,
one, yeah.
I was like, oh, it's so good, but it was like it's such a
No sense.
weird. I think it like the idea that they have to stick to it reminds me of other shows I know of that like they decided on an ending that didn't make sense anymore, and the show suffered for it when they tried to go back to it.
Right.
My big one is How I Met Your Mother, because that's why that show ends that way. It's because they had filmed an
Yeah,
ending.
yeah. Didn't
Yeah.
they do that like years in advance?
Yep, because the kids were aging out of the
Yeah.
roles, so they filmed something with
I am
them.
in the minority
Yeah.
that actually liked that ending.
I
But
you
also
don't need.
rewatch going back to it, that whole show is rough because Ted is a piece of
I
shit and Barney is an absolute piece of
yeah.
shit. And
I
we just laughed about it.
I can't stand that ending because I spent a season at a wedding that was undone in 5 minutes, and I will never forgive them for wasting my time. But you don't need my How I Met Your Mother rant that does exist somewhere on the internet on the Star Trek podcast.
Yeah, you all are
So
stealing the salon's vibe
yeah.
because not absolute bonkers non sequiturs is our thing. So knock it
Oh
off.
no. Hey! I have ADHD. I can't help it. Like,
Same.
yeah, Father's
Yeah.
been saying the dream for a while, so I think Father's just thrilled his theories, right? That's
We
Yeah.
have 6 more episodes to
So let's
confirm.
the
yeah.
dream.
I'm popping that up there. For my part of my How I Met Your Mother rant. I also I loved Rayner going up with like so the phaser is up against his chest. Such a good move. Like, is it like a little cliche at this point? A little, but I was like, yeah, I'm here for this.
It was a cool moment to show
Yeah.
I know this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know this woman, but I
Yeah.
know her future self and
Mm-hmm.
like
I know her enough to know that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get shot. Or if I do, she's definitely has it on stun.
Yeah, and that was a really nice moment for him to show him to show the audience that
Mhm.
although half of you probably think this guy is a Bodinsky, but when the chips are down, he can put himself in the line of fire
Mhm.
and talk somebody down with a weapon. So it's a really really impressive moment for him.
Yeah, it was, and I was like, and not in a romantic sense in any way, but the chemistry between Sonequa Martin Green and Rayner was off the charts in this episode. Where
Yeah.
I want them like if they do Discovery movies, I'd want him around as first officer.
yeah. Unacceptable.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah, I mean, it'll be really cool to see him after this season of Discovery. But I'm kind of partial to that big, tall, Kelpian dude. Uh,
Saru definitely needs to be there. I just don't know if they're going to like. I do think it'd be funny if they do what they do with Worf during the TNG movies, where Worf is here for some
he
reason.
just showed up.
Isn't
He
Worf?
just
Shouldn't Worf
showed
be
up. He
on?
just shows up.
Shouldn't Worf be on Deep Space Nine? Don't worry about it.
Life as a diplomat wasn't for me. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You couldn't have just made him an ambassador there for the wedding for that movie. Come on.
I also they didn't need to do that at all. Why is Worf here? Worf is at the wedding.
Yeah.
Like Worf is there. Worf is good friends with the people getting married. It's the only explanation that movie needs. Like,
He's
Yeah.
traveling back to
Yeah.
Kronos via Beta Z, and so he'll
Yeah.
just stay on the ship for a
well,
bit.
then he was like, also he's like, oh, I'm also going to the second wedding, and then I'll go back whenever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, stuff started happening, and I'm a previous officer, so I'll start helping.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I would
was
imagine.
gonna say at least I was genuinely does I cannot remember right now. Does Insurrection even try to explain why he's on the Enterprise? Because he definitely should be like on the station serving on the Deep Space Nine station.
That one was the worst one. There
Yeah.
was I'm on the Defiant. Insurrection was
See, I'm on
just
the
here.
Defiant.
Why does this keep happening? Is anybody else on a Mac, or is it just me
I
that
am.
get?
I
I'm
am.
on
shit.
a Mac,
I
but
can't
my
do
Mac,
that.
My Mac doesn't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I know,
Uh,
but like I have a webcam, so I wonder if I turn it off
Oh,
and go to the
I
regular
think it's
cam.
because it's
I-
It's my iMac or my MacBook. My when I use my
Mm.
iPhone as my camera, it does that as well. I think it's like a FaceTime thing mostly.
I was
Okay.
gonna
Here's the
say
really cool one.
I was just gonna say that I am also
Yeah.
using.
Oh, that's cool.
I was just gonna say I don't know if there's something I'd have to turn on for it, but I am also using the camera in my MacBook Air, and
Okay.
I can gesture and there's no balloons. I would
Yeah.
say the there is a battle and Worf is there in the Defiant makes complete sense. That one
Yeah.
does make complete sense, but
I thought, well, just real quickly on the MacBook thing. I'm sorry for steering the conversation, but I
no
thought that
worries.
was like a StreamYards thing. Like I
No,
didn't.
I have no
Apple.
idea.
Yeah,
Apple's
Apple.
nonsense.
You know, Rachel, I disagree. Like, I feel like Rayner hasn't totally won me over yet. Like, he came in hot. Like, I was like, ooh, like Silver Fox. Like, ooh, he's so decisive. Like, ooh, he's such like a war hardened
Yeah.
like veteran. I was on board. But then, like, he was a jerk for 2 episodes.
He was. I
And
don't
then,
know.
like, he wasn't that cool. And then, like, he, had that incident on the bridge, and Michael was like, hey, like, we need to talk. Like, so I don't
Unacceptable.
know.
Yeah.
I
I
hope that he continues to grow as the season goes on. But I kind of just want him to be a guest star. He totally hasn't won me yet. Like I want like
I
Tilly
don't
to be
know.
the first officer.
It's not okay. I don't think the character has completely won me over yet, but the actor has, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Where
Mm,
I'm like,
mm.
I think there, like, I think I know, like, I think I like where this character is going, and I enjoy watching this actor. So I'd be glad if they have him have his arc, and then he can stay around.
He looked a
Yeah.
little like
Also,
Daniel
this is
Craig.
here. Is it your birthday, Stan?
It was because of the balloons.
Oh,
My birthday's in a
uh,
month though, so get your
oh,
balloons
happy
ready now.
early birthday then.
My birthday is next week.
Oh,
Oh,
happy
happy
birthday.
Okay.
birthday!
Well,
Happy
Here,
thank you.
birthday.
I think. Oh,
come on.
Now that you
come
want
on.
them to
I'll
appear,
do
they
it.
There we
will.
Yeah,
go.
thank you, Stan. Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Stan. Um, quick word on Rayner. I really, really enjoy Rayner, the actor and the character, because he seems to me like someone who just he seems to me as an individual that it just took him a little while to get used to this new normal of being under someone else's command and
Yeah,
being on a ship that he's not totally, for lack of a better word, in control of. And I
yeah,
think
I could
that
see that
is
definitely being a big change.
right.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I agree. Like I said earlier, I think they're doing a better job with him organically than they have with other relationships in the past. And so, like,
Hmm.
we were introduced to a dick, and then he gets this second chance. So him not being immediately like how Burnham wants him to be, I think makes some sense. But
Yeah.
like, you're not wrong, Braxton. You're not wrong, but I think they're building him organically. Like I liked
Yeah.
how in this episode, in the epilogue of this episode
Hmm.
was, you're right, Captain Burnham. Like,
Yeah.
we got through this because of the connection with your crew,
Hmm.
your connection especially. And she even had a moment where she's like, like there is a flip side there, but the good outweighs the bad. It was a lovely moment.
Hmm.
And with
Yeah.
that, I've got to dip out. I gotta walk Tindy before the salon.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Everyone
6:30 p.m.
go check out the salon when we're done here. I
Yes,
I'll be somewhere
45
in the
minutes.
I'll be somewhere in the comments at some point.
See you,
And I
Stan.
don't know if it will let me post it, but it's there at Salon
Yeah.
Trek here on
Yeah.
YouTube. We'll see you all at 6:30. Live long and
See
prosper.
you then.
Thanks for having me.
See you,
Yeah.
Stan.
See you, Stan.
Um I'm trying to think what but yeah, I would say I think I am more um won over by the actor as opposed to the character at this point, but I'm like um
Yeah.
I
Also, I think that he's a character that would fit in well with Picard's crew, like early Jean-Luc Picard. I'm talking like
mm,
season 1, season 2, because Picard back then he was a very stern gentleman. He was
mhm.
somebody who believed in order, and I think that Shaw would take to that like a fish to water.
Mm.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
actually
maybe. Maybe that's why I like him.
I will say there's one thing is like I genuinely I don't want Rayner to die because it would be too close to what they just did with Shaw.
Shaw.
And I
Mm.
don't think like if that does happen, I think there's probably just two different people had a similar storyline idea at the same time because season 5 of this was filmed right after season 4. So, but
Yeah, people have
um
been people have been saying that Rayner is another version of
I
Shaw,
think
and
it's I think it's kind of just a great minds think alike, and it seems to happen a lot in Star Trek.
mm,
Where it's like, oh, we all kind of did evil AI at the same time on accident. Like,
yeah, I think it would behoove Star Trek in the future to have like someone who actually keeps track of all the storylines that
yeah, I think they
potential Star Trek shows are doing.
do, but I think like
They
there's
didn't have
only
it back then.
I think there's just only so much you can change if like a story like if you rewriting an entire season you've already written would be of hours of wasted time, hours of wasted
Yeah,
money, and like literally thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars
right, right,
just
right,
to avoid a little bit of a similarity.
right. Too much rewriting.
Yeah, I I'm trying to remember. So what else? And I also thought there was like a fun way of like it's really easy to include Tilly if we're going into the past and we don't have to like question. I do genuinely wonder. Did do you think they actually filmed anything new with Saru, or did they just use some old footage of Doug Jones asleep during that one scene? Because I think the
Um,
only time you see Saru is when they're passed out.
yeah, I honestly think that's they reused footage, or
I
that's
think
my
they reused
guess.
some.
Right.
I genuinely I think it's so well done. I can't tell what's reused footage and what's not. I probably if I went through scene by scene and tried to figure it out, but that's not how I watched.
Right.
Like that's not how I was watching the show.
Right. The greatest parlor trick in Star Trek that I've ever seen
Hmm.
is in reference to Chematrix is the episode of D Space Nine when they go back to the original series. Like
Oh yeah,
that is the best technical episode of Star Trek that I've ever seen, just because of what they did.
yeah.
It's like that's
That
amazing.
episode must have been so expensive.
Yeah,
Fun
yeah.
fact: my brother walked by once while I was watching that episode, and then stopped and went, "Wait, is this old Star Trek?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's actually an episode where they go back in time to an old episode." And the reason was he recognized Colm Meaney from Hell on Wheels and didn't understand how he could be old enough to be on the original series. And I was like, "He is
Oh
not.
wow,
That is
that
correct."
is cool.
He just happened to
Um,
like walk by with a scene with O'Brien in it and was like, "I don't understand time, maybe." Like,
I don't understand time.
yeah,
Yeah, Colin Meaney is such a good character actor. He pops up in so much random stuff. Like
hmm
I went to the movies recently and I saw this Liam Neeson, the Liam Neeson's, an action movie, and Colin
hmm
Meaney played a small role in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always so pleasantly surprised when Colin Meaney shows up and stuff because he's not an actor that usually he's not necessarily a huge name outside of Star Trek, and I think that's probably the career he wants. But so it's I often go into like things with him in it, and they're not advertising that he's in it, so I'm like, oh, surprise.
Yeah. But it is kind of funny how the DS9 writers
Hmm.
found constant ways. I mean, not to turn this into a DS9 stream, but found constant ways to torture the poor man.
I
Like
that poor man.
every
I
every season, they found another way to torture him. It's like,
I O'Brien must suffer. I that's
yeah, O'Brien must suffer.
But you know, Lower Deck said he was the most important man in Starfleet, so
Oh yeah,
at
that's
least they
right. They
got something
did.
from it.
Yeah, I'm still not over the lower decks thing. By the way, I
Yeah.
think it's gonna take me a
Oh,
while.
same. Um, he- I'm trying to think what else. If anyone in the comment has any opinions too, I'm trying to think what else was in the episode that.
There was this really cool moment with Adira getting a message from Gray. I
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool because as someone who didn't like the way that their relationship was handled from a writing aspect, I like that, Gray's still a presence in her life, and it'll be
Hmm.
interesting to see if they're going to reconnect at some point, or if Adira is going to find herself another partner somewhere down the road.
Yeah, and I liked, and especially, I think that feels especially true for apparently like childhood sweethearts. That it's
Mm.
actually fairly healthy and normal to remain friends with an ex. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, within reason for like some things, obviously, but like they're just friends, and it's great.
it's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, we talked about it a little earlier, but I'm genuinely astounded by how much they made people look like their season one selves.
yeah. We gotta go watch the Ready Room.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, we gotta go watch the Ready Room.
I like genuinely people just looked younger in a way that I was like, how? Like I don't know,
Yeah, maybe
maybe they did digital
maybe
de they did maybe they did subtle digital de aging. I usually can tell, but if they do it subtly, it's usually works pretty well.
Hey,
I
this
was gonna.
episode was a lot of money. Like I feel like it was
Yeah,
like good CG, the
Yeah.
Michaels fighting, like the de aging. Like this episode was like a ton of money.
Hmm.
yeah. I no. I was gonna say something really dumb. I was like, maybe they did something with makeup, but that sounds dumb.
I
Cause
mean, I'm sure they did, but whatever they did was very well done.
right.
Like, um, the fact where I'm just like, it is genuinely like as someone who's done stuff with makeup, I'm like, teach me your ways, how? And part of it is maybe it could have been part of it is probably also acting that like they're acting in a way that makes them look that feels so much like their season one selves that you think they look younger.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Mm.
Um, and I'm giving props to the wrong person, or it's a team effort, and that's how filmmaking works.
mm.
But
Yeah.
I loved Michael's little short hairdo. Like I was
mm-hmm,
remembering that little hairdo. I was like, oh, that was like a cute hairdo. Like I love Michael's braids, but Michael's real long braids
mm-hmm,
don't really seem like super practical. Like it seems that like
No.
as a
I
soldier, you might
Uh-uh.
actually want to have like some like a
Shorter
little
braids.
short little
it
do, you know?
it does
Yeah.
part of that fight scene reminded me of there's a scene in the movie Birds of Prey in the middle of an action scene. One of the female characters hands another one a hair tie,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes, "Here you go." She's like, "Thanks," and ties her hair back, and I was like, "That is the most realistic thing I've ever seen in a fight scene."
I mean, really, like short, younger Michael could have totally just like pulled her braids and like hurt her neck or something.
I
Like
That
that's
does
was.
what
not
happened.
seem that does not seem like younger Michael's mo. Very
Mm,
Yeah.
Vulcan, but I
mm,
did call
mm.
right before the Vulcan it happened. I was like, one of them is about to Vulcan neck pick together, and I was like, yeah, I'm right.
I really like that you brought up that point. Brought up that point, Braxton. That Michael's braids are too long because I do think that they're too long. They should be a little bit closer to her head. Like I think they're way too long. I like them, like a lot of folks, but I think they're way too long.
I think to be fair though, most of her job is supposed to be sitting on a bridge, like it's supposed
Mm,
to
That is
be.
true. That is true.
That
And
is,
and
however,
Cap.
that's
But no,
not
but
interesting.
Michael gets a lot of action. Like Michael is always going
That
That's
down
is
like
true.
true.
to planets. Like she is like
That
always
is true.
fighting.
That
Like
is true.
Michael gets a ton of action.
Um, but I was gonna say the same thing. All the women in Star Trek always have hair that does not is not practical for
Mm, mm,
Right.
Troy's
mm,
long 80s curls.
Janeway, some of that hair. Like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right.
that is as someone who's watched many an action film with women. Everyone has long hair like that. Literally everyone, and you're like, and it just looks really cool when they spin and punch.
Hmm.
So
Oh
like,
yeah.
let it be.
Yep.
Yeah, when younger
Let it be,
I
Michael.
folks. Let it be.
let the hair move cool. Tasha Yar did have nice and short hair, but I think that was to mostly because they wanted her to look different from the other two women on the show.
Hmm.
Right.
But she's a security officer too. Like, how is a
Yeah.
security officer gonna have like long flowing locks? Like a security officer, like She's supposed to look
Uh,
like a prison guard or something.
do you mean like La'an on Strange New Worlds? Because she has very long hair.
You know, she does, but
Yeah,
she always keeps it back.
She does
yeah,
usually keep it
And
back,
then she always
but
has her little. She's got her little cute braids and stuff.
yeah,
Like La'an looks all business, but she can't let it
yeah,
down though.
yeah. No, but to Braxton's point, Lon always has it really, really tight, and it's long, but she's got it
I
tied
will
up.
say it is still in a long ponytail. If someone wanted to grab, they put all of the hair together and made a handle. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's right. They did. Oh
Like,
my God, you're right.
I don't. As someone who
Cool.
has, my hair is pretty short right now, but as someone who's had very long hair,
Yeah.
that's not helping. You would have
No.
to have it at a bun to not, like,
Yeah.
as someone who has practically not, I've never had my hair quite as long as Christina Chong's hair.
Yeah. I
Actually, not
mean,
on purpose, anyways. My hair got very long in 2020, but
yeah. I have long hair right
yeah,
now, so somebody could probably pull my hair like
yeah.
Um.
But yeah, ponytails don't really help with like if
Mm,
someone. I mean, they
mm.
do help in normal life of like doing stuff because it's off your face. And like if you're working with heavy machinery, it's great. But if you were like actually in a fight, someone could grab your ponytail and pull.
Yep.
It is the most tight hair possible. That is,
That's true, dude. Like, yeah, yeah. It's snatched back, dude.
yeah. I would say Janeway's bun is probably the most practical, except that it's a very intricate bun that no one would ever have time to do. Because I once
Mm.
wasn't
tried.
wasn't she wearing wigs a couple
Yes,
times?
I
Wigs.
once
Yeah.
like I tried to figure out try to do the bun with my hair, and I went, I don't think this hairstyle is actually possible on a human head. Like it also didn't help that I have a lot of hair, and so my bun just kept getting bigger and bigger. When it's long, it just keeps like adding and
Oh
adding
my
to it.
God.
No, I did the bun with I used a bun helper thing.
Okay.
At Star Trek Las Vegas, someone said, "Oh, how did you add that volume?" And I went, "That is all my like that was not on purpose. I just have that
That is
volume."
my hair.
Yeah,
Cool.
Oh wow, I didn't realize there was a bun helper.
yeah. I can't think of the right. It's called a donut. So you put your hair through it, and then you go like that, and then you put a hairband, and then you pin it around.
Mm,
It's usually
mm.
used to make like ballerina buns.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or I've also used fake hair to make it look like I've done a bun because I'm not actually that good at making buns.
Oh.
Oh, what you put on like a little clip?
I have. I did that for actually from the Lawn cosplay, the Elysium Kingdom cosplay I did. I have a little fake bun.
Hmm.
Mostly because I could get my hair that curly and that big. It would take a lot of teasing, and that would have been really hard at a convention without my normal hair products.
Mm.
And also it would be a lot of hairspray, so then it would be my hair would just have a lot of stuff in it at the end of the day, which is not great for the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also much easier to do than
That saves a lot of
I
time.
would say. I would guess though more women in like TV or like have extensions or some kind of like fake hair than you realize they do.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Mm.
Yep.
Like
Very
I
true.
would guess that I don't know this to be sure. I would guess that maybe Law in the Elysium Kingdom that Christina Chong is wearing like either extensions for more volume or a hairpiece.
Is that when she's
Oh,
wearing the
that's
dress?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. You just answered my question, Braxton. I was like, is that the one where they're like in the fairy tale thing? Yeah.
I honestly exactly, Brian, because I have a lot of hair. It takes a lot of hairspray to get it to hold.
Mm.
Like I said, it's hard for me to show because it's short right now, but it's thick. Like my ponytail is like this thick when I'm like it's I it's just very thick
But you
hair.
just cut your hair, so like you can't have a bun for like 4 months.
Well, that's when I use a fake bun. Then you
Mm,
could use a fake bun.
mm.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna finally
Yeah.
cut off my ends uh next week. I'm gonna take like 10 inches off my hair because my hair is losing a little control. It goes in
Yeah.
every direction. So I
Oh,
gotta tame it a little bit.
maybe your hair's curlier than you think. Maybe you should be
I
doing further
think it
stuff for
is.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the cool thing about me is that I don't. Um, I've had my hair 3 times long in my life, but I don't put any. I don't use any product in my hair at all. Um, well, that's a lie. Every time I go to like a
Mhm.
family function, I put some hairspray before I tie it up. That's the only other time that I use products or anything like that.
You say before you tie it up, so what you pull it back like into like a
Hmm.
ponytail?
Yeah. So for
I
like
would
a family
say
function,
products might be good for your hair though. It might keep you
yeah, maybe,
healthier.
maybe. But uh, it's something that I've thought of, but my family is sort of like we're big health nuts, and we would
Mhm.
prefer to do it just all natural. I'm not saying that at some
Mhm.
point in my life I'm not going to experiment with products, but just for now, I
Mhm.
I kind of like the the look that I have with my hair.
I mean, what about
That's fair.
moisturizer? You're not using any moisturizer, any
No,
I
conditioner?
think he
no,
means
no, I
hair
do
products
hair products.
as opposed
No,
to
but
skin
You mean
products.
like
no, but
hairspray?
Yeah.
yeah, hairspray.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
To
but
be
I
fair,
do
I don't
use
use hairspray that often. Honestly, mostly just with cosplays because
ye-
trying to.
yes, but I do
Yeah.
use moisturizer in my
Mhm.
shampoo.
Yeah.
Um, where well, yeah, my so just to be clear, my family is not a bunch of cavemen.
You know,
Oh,
this
yeah, I felt you meant like hairspray and that kind
Yeah,
of like
hairspray.
extra
Yeah,
products.
so
yeah.
I
now,
Extra
use
product.
hair gel for curls, although
Yeah,
my hair is flat right now because I had it back earlier, so
yeah, yeah. So when I would when I generally go to a party, I have my one of my family members help me get my hair wet.
mhm.
She does some hairspray here in the front,
Yeah.
and after she puts it up, I like it low. I don't like it too high on my head.
Hmm.
And then she'll just do another quick spray on the back, and that's it.
Makes sense.
so is
Yeah,
there like any like soap or shampoo or conditioner in Star Trek, Tom? Like, cause like the sonic
that's a good
shower,
question.
you
That
don't
is,
need like any like product. Like it just cleans like your hair and your
it's
scalp and your
so weird to think
skin and
about,
like.
but maybe not. But also, like, how would a sonic shower? I'm saying this is someone I have a scalp condition, so like, how does it get deep into your scalp enough to like get to your scalp? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
or maybe they just cured psoriasis, so that would be nice. Um,
That's a good idea.
like,
No, but
Like,
I would think with sonic showers they wouldn't need like um things for hair, right? Because wouldn't the
I
sonic
mean, but
wouldn't
some stuff for hair is not for cleanliness; it's for like holding style. I don't know how a sonic shower
would do that?
can a sonic shower replace my gel I put to help hold my curl pattern?
Huh?
no.
Like, right? Like, I
No.
don't. It
Mm.
feels like okay. It feels like maybe in like whoever invented it, probably a guy, was like, yeah, it would replace everything, and then forgot about like how you take care of long hair.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
Mm, mm, mm.
Right.
yeah, I don't. But yeah, it would be great if someone could come up with a cure that's not using medicated shampoo for psoriasis. That would be great. Would love that.
And
Because
and some.
some of that shampoo smells real bad.
What like Selsun Blue or
Hey,
something?
Like there's one I use one that like has no smell to it, but it's if it's really bad, I have to use tea gel, which smells like tar. So
Mm.
ooh,
it exactly. So I just use that if I have to, but
I feel like people would only take sonic showers like where there's like scarcity of
yeah.
water. Like I
I
feel
water.
like
also
water
I
is abundant. You might like always just like take
and
a
if
regular
you
shower or bath because it feels good.
yeah, it feels good. Also, like I think showers and baths are good for like mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a like I love a bath. I would like to just take a bubble bath every day.
Oh
Lesser
wow!
known
Oh wow!
property.
But it's like a time for you to like be. Are you like on the phone or anything, or like are
I
you
sometimes
like
I
reading
listen to
a
music.
book
I
or
read
like?
in the bath a lot.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
or sometimes I watch stuff on my iPad, but just vibing. I have a big bathtub. It's nice. Like,
Yeah.
Because people always
That's
talk
cool.
about a
yeah.
relaxing bath, but I never find a bath relaxing. Like I never like really want to do that.
I've
It's like
got I've got bath bombs and candles sometimes. It's a moment. It's relaxing.
mm,
The thing I don't
mm.
What?
find showers that relaxing. I find showers very utilitarian and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get in and get out and I don't find them like relaxing at all.
Yeah. When I was
Especially showers are loud, so I don't find them particularly relaxing.
Mm.
when I was a kid, I used to do a lot of baths, but as an adult, I don't do that. I tend to go towards more Rachel. I don't like. I try to get in there and get out. I don't find
Yeah.
the active
Well,
showers
this
very.
I would say like I take more baths than I take showers. That's
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, I generally find like I just find showers like boring in a way. I don't know. I feel like you're just getting in
Boring.
there, getting out. And also, I find I find shaving my legs easier in a bath because you're sitting. That's
Mm.
Yeah.
The
that's
things.
also. And you know what? Actually, if Star Trek
Mm.
could come up with a thing to just never make some hair grow back, that would be. I guess we're kind of
Mm.
working on that, but
You know, we totally missed like Book taking a sonic shower after he got back from the gym. I mean, I take it that he got back from the gym or something because, like, I feel like he was
yeah, he
wearing
must.
shorts.
I
He
think.
looked like he was glistening
I
a
think
bit.
that was what it was implied.
Mm,
I thought it was cute. He
mm,
was like, "Oh, I want to picture up a Roctagino." I thought that was a
mm,
very cute, like
mm.
That
thing in their past relationship. I guess a little glimpse.
yeah, that was
And
very
Michael's
cool.
quarters is so nice.
I know. I'm like, I want to live there.
Spacious.
Like the mood of the lighting was so
That's why
good.
they
Like
have
the
to have it
furniture looked
biometrically sealed
amazing.
for the captain's DNA because people would just sneak in there to hang out. Like,
No, but I when when she walked in, I was like, "Damn, Michael, who did you get to design your quarters? Because that place looks spacious. I mean, it looks
yeah.
better. It looks better than Captain Pike's quarters, and that man has a kitchen in
Hmm.
his quarters." And I'm like,
The lighting was real moody, dude. Like, oh my gosh, it looked like the place
I
was
was thinking of
amazing.
the captain's quarters in how general like well because I lived on an Air Force base, general being the highest rank, where
right,
generals housing would be really big, but it wasn't because like their bedrooms wouldn't be bigger. It's because they were expected to entertain in there.
Hmm.
And I've
huh?
always wondered if like that's why they're so big, especially Pike's, who has again a kitchen.
He has a kitchen, man. Come on,
Like,
He's
are
frying
you
bacon.
kidding
yeah,
me?
I whereas maybe in past shows they're like, oh, why don't we have them like entertain out here and not have people go into their house like where they live.
Right.
But I would like to live in Michael's quarters. They seem nice.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of want to live in Saru's quarters. They seem cool. His
Ooh,
plants
Yeah.
seem
no,
cool.
I'd be
Yeah.
sweating all the time. Like
Yeah.
this
That's
dude's
Yeah. But
true.
if
doing
you
gross.
Yeah, but if
But
you
I like plants, but I'm bad at taking care of them. So Saru has to come and take care of them, and then I
oh
can
yeah,
hang out with them.
that'd be funny. No, but if you live in Saru's quarters, you got to remember that one plant that could kill you.
Oh
If
yeah.
you
If you
that one plant,
touch it while it's blooming, maybe.
yeah, don't do it, it'll
See,
kill you.
although it would be a cliche for someone with the last name Bloom to live in the plant's quarters, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of would be.
Hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of Bloom, the other day I watched with a bunch of friends. I watched the remake of The Producers with
Hmm.
Matthew Broderick and what's his name? The
Nathan
other
Lane.
guy. Yeah, Nathan Lane. And every time I heard the word Bloom, I just thought of you. I'm like, I know a Bloom. I know a Bloom.
My brother once he did like theater in high school as well. He did like a scene from that, but he played the other like but my mom they just did it as like a showcase thing, and my mom wasn't familiar with the producers, and she was like, "Did he forget Ben's character's name?" I was like, "Nope, the character's name is just Bloom."
Okay.
Like, but my mom
Yeah.
was just like, I was like, "No, no, he just found the thing with the last name is Bloom."
That's cool. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of
Oh
the
yeah,
remake.
Michael's Apprentice of the Quarters has a holodeck in it.
Oh yeah. How did she manage that? Is that like
That's what
something?
I've always dreamed of, because then I could have any kind of like any kind of thing I wanted. I could have like, oh, I'll go live like the material, like minimalistic, cool style, and then I was like, and now I get to do all my flowers everywhere.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome to have a holodeck like in your quarters? It's like, oh yeah, like I just be like
Yeah.
sleeping like out like under the stars like
Mm-hmm.
every night, you know?
That'd be really cool.
Somehow make it so you can sleep under the stars and there's no mosquitoes. Like,
There's there there would be no humidity either. Like
yeah,
it
exactly.
would always be the perfect temperature.
Although my
Um,
curls do look kind of cute in humidity, so maybe a little humidity is allowed.
yeah, just the right amount, just a
Yeah.
tad.
No, it's
Yeah.
when I last year I went to my cousin's wedding in Florida and I landed. I was like, oh, it's a good thing I was planning on embracing my curls for the wedding style because I have no choice. Like my hair
Yeah.
like changed curl type between Texas and Florida. Like
Oh wow, just the humidity.
the humidity, yeah.
Yeah. The one time that I went down to Texas for a wedding, it was my cousin's wedding a couple years ago, and my family had this crazy idea of getting into a car and taking 18 hours to drive down there, get checked into the hotel, go to the reception, and then 2 days later go to the actual wedding.
Hmm.
And that was a bit of an experience, like being trapped in a car with your family for 18 hours from New York to
My family does
Texas.
shit like that, and
Yeah.
I've had to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
My parents, we used to drive from Texas to Ohio like once a year, and my dad did it in like a day. I don't
Yeah.
understand, but he did not do this in a day this time. But my parents recently went to a family wedding in Ohio, and they
Right.
drove there from Texas.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And
Jeez.
then they did stop at one point, but like,
Okay. No, but we didn't. My family didn't stop. It was like
yeah.
18 hours. It was a
Well, when
straight
we
shot.
used to do it, we would used to get in, like, we were still in our pajamas. We would, like, I was a child during this time.
Right. Right.
We would stop, eat it, like breakfast at McDonald's. We would change into actual clothes, get back in the car, eventually stop for lunch, get in, stop for dinner, get back in the car, and then drive all the way to my aunt's house in Ohio.
Right.
And then we would sleep in Ohio.
That's crazy.
There were, okay,
Um.
it was a suburban, but there were five of us. And the dog
Oh.
was usually with us, a golden retriever.
Oof. I yeah. My family ended up renting a big minivan.
Oh, and it feels
Um.
important. It was
To
San
fit
Antonio,
around.
Texas, so it was central Texas. We were not near the border.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's another couple hours to add to the trip.
Mm. Anyway, when we got to Texas, I said to my cousin who was getting married, I said to her, "Listen, if you ever want me to come down here again for any reason at all, I will come down here and drop up a hat. But you need either yourself or your husband need to pay for my plane ticket because I'm not driving down here ever again."
I'm so used to driving because it takes just a couple hours to get out of the state.
Right, 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 right.
That's the problem. That's the problem. I live in central Texas. It's hours to get out of the state, no matter which way you go.
Oh, so you like live
Yep.
in the middle, or
Yeah, literally the area I live in is called Central Texas. So
it's in the middle.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean it makes sense. They put the capital in the middle.
Right. And our friend father lives like
Hmm.
right close to you, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Cool. Sorry guys, we kind of
Yeah.
veered off Star Trek,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. You drive home to Texas, but the border is halfway. Like,
okay.
because I mean it. I think it could take over a day if you were to drive through the longest part of Texas. It would take more than a day.
Hmm. Hey Braxton, how many cats do you have?
Only two.
Only two?
They're
Okay.
just very
Okay.
And
lovey cats, and they want all the
Okay.
attention
and this
because
has
they're good
been
kitties.
Ahsoka here the whole
Oh,
time, you
sorry.
know, as
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
you
Is
know.
yeah.
is
I'm
it
really.
is Ahsoka the more like cuddly one?
Yes and no. Like
Hmm.
my cats occupy me at different times. So, for
Okay.
instance, like Ahsoka sits on my lap in the morning, like when I'm getting like ready for like work and like drinking
Work.
coffee, and she'll like sit on my lap like all like evening when I'm like sitting on the couch playing games. But then like Esri, like he like sleeps on my hip, and he's just like there, like
Oh,
right beside
cute.
me, like all night, you know. So they
That's
both
Oh,
very
get like
cute.
cool.
equal time with me, just at, like at different times.
That's cool. I'm used to watching your cats disturb you during streams, but I guess
You thought you thought there were
I
more of them?
I thought there were more of them because when we used to do streams together, his cats used to be everywhere. They were coming to the shot, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's got a lot of cats.
Mm.
No, they're just quick. They move.
Right, they're quick cats. They got quick feet, I guess.
I guess I'm trying to think of any. I guess is there anything you are predicting for next week? I don't really have any predictions because I didn't.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know.
yeah, I have no predictions for next week. I
Yeah.
really like this is the one thing about modern Star Trek that I kind of like. They don't show trailers for next week. Like it would be really cool if they just gave us a peek, but I guess they don't do the thing.
I don't like. I kind of miss them sometimes, but I kind of don't miss when the marketing department didn't care as much as I did and gave away major things.
Oh yeah, that's right. They used to do that.
Like, the one I'll always is Once Upon a Time had the first kiss of a major couple in the trailer of the episode before it happened.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Or once, this is, once, while watching The Good Place live on television, they had an ad that spoiled the end of that episode.
Oh my god, that's
Um,
egregious. I mean
they
that's like
had a um they had an ad for Thursday nights on NBC, something like that. And it was in the middle of the episode, and they showed a character that showed up at the end. It was going to show up at the end of that episode.
oh my
That
god,
was like
that
hadn't been
is
on the.
so
It was
bad.
this was the premiere of season 3. That character hadn't been on the show since season 1,
Yeah.
and it
When was this? Like
this the Good Place. I don't. I would have to. It was the Good Place season 3, so I would have to look
okay.
up what year that was.
Okay. All right. No,
But I've never. I watched it literally as soon as humanly possible. I was watching the episode live, and I was spoiled by the network.
oh my god. oh my god. Um
um,
that
I was
that
not the
reminds me
only person that complained about that. Everyone's like, "What the hell? Why did you show that character in the trailer while I was watching the episode?"
Mhm. That reminds me if either of you watch a lot of classic TV like um in the 70s and the 80s what they would do, I have no idea why on God's green earth that they would do this, but before a new episode of the A Team started or a new episode of the original Magnum PI, they would
Mhm.
show you a clip show of the actual episode that you were about to watch. And it
That's
used to annoy the crap out of me. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I'm sitting here about to watch the episode and you're giving me a clip show?
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever be being spoiled while watching an episode live with a clip of
Yeah.
the next episode.
Right.
It was hilarious, and then it was funny because, like I said, the ad was for like you should watch comedies on NBC on Thursdays, and I went, "You mean what I'm doing right now? Like I'm
Yeah.
watching an NBC sitcom on Thursday or whatever. I think it was Thursdays."
Yeah.
Um,
In my local movie theater, it's the AMC movie theater. I think it's the top theater in the United States. Those folks have so many ads play before any screening of any movie shows up,
mhm.
any screening of any movie starts in their theaters. They play so many ads for AMC theaters. I'm like, guys, why are you advertising your theaters to me? I'm sitting in your theater right now, about to watch one of your movies, and I'm on your Prime membership plan. So you don't need to sell yourself to the audience that's
So at
already here.
least the Draft House, they will
I
advertise
hate
like
that.
different things about the Draft House. They'll be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
did you know you can have office parties here?" Stuff like that.
Right.
I
Yeah. Yeah. No, but AMC is egregious, man, because they do a pre-roll, which is like basic ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they do a mid-roll of all their ads, right? Like things that
Oh,
are associated with the feeder. Like they have this one section where they thank their investors. They have this other section where they show you the majesty of the movies. They have this other section where if you're in the Dolby feeder, they do a small little package telling you the differences between Dolby and IMAX and standard. And then they
it's
have
too
this
much. And then they play the actual trailers that come with the movie.
yeah. And then
The
after that, after they finish all that, you think the movie's going to start. No, 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 no. They have one more pre-recorded
is it
ad with
Nicole
Nicole.
Kidman telling you
Yeah.
about movies?
I'm like, God
I've
damn
never
it.
actually seen that in a movie theater. I've seen that online because I go to Draft House. So Draft House has a pre-roll, but it's usually
Pre-roll?
clips that have to do with the movie you're about to watch.
Okay.
And it's usually that's there because they like you to get there early to order.
Yeah, of course.
Then
With the food, right?
yeah, they usually do. I'm trying to think of the order they do this. Then you go into a mix of the movies of they have a couple trailers that are for things that the Draft House is doing because they show older movies, and so they'll be like, here's what you can watch this month at the Draft House, those movies. And then they have a couple ads explaining the rules of the Draft House to people, like no talking, no texting, this is how to order.
Okay,
But
cool.
that is important because if it's someone's first time at the Draft House, they might need to know those things.
Right. I gotta go to I don't think I have a draft house near me here, but I gotta see
They
if I can
they
get down
closed
to
some
one.
of the ones that were outside of Texas, some of the ones that are outside of Texas during like 2020.
COVID?
So yeah,
Yeah. The year of death
and they
for
closed some
everybody.
ones here too. But there used
Yeah.
to be one downtown, and there's not anymore, and it makes me sad because I
Oh.
used to like that one.
Mm,
Although
yeah.
I can't imagine that one made money. It only had two theaters
Oh wow.
and two theaters and no parking because there's like no parking downtown. I guess yeah, we're completely off topic now.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's my fault.
Um,
I just rabbled on for about movie for like
Congrats,
20
Brian.
minutes.
You should go. I am pro Alamo Draft House. That is my
Yeah, you have a membership there, right?
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess any last thoughts about this episode before we sign off?
Yeah, no, it was really fun. Like I said at the beginning, I wasn't expecting it because I knew nothing about this episode. And when I went into it, it was so nice to see Discovery do a
Mm-hmm.
timey-wimey episode that was actually fun. I'm not saying that the one with hardcore with Mud
Mm-hmm.
in season one wasn't fun, but that one was a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
But but this one had an air of funness to it that the other
Yeah.
one didn't have.
I think it was. I think they're both fun, but I think it's been on long enough that we can do fun, more like fun story things with this.
Right.
What about
Yeah.
you, Braxton?
Oh, I love this episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Like the Michael versus Michael fight was just like the whole shebang for me. Like, ooh, like as I
Yeah.
remember this episode, like I think mostly I'll remember that. Though
Mm-hmm.
there was lots of good stuff in this
Yeah.
episode. Like the acting was good. Like it was like an interesting story. Like it was well written. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I thought this was a great episode.
Yeah. I
I
love this
agree.
episode. I love time travel stories, so this was right up my alley. And I thought the acting was really good, and I thought it really gave all the actors time to shine. And I was glad that people were getting moments that I don't know that we'll have time to give like Oo and Detmer. I hope they do, but I'm not sure with this being the last season. I'm glad they're getting more moments to shine in this episode.
I'm telling you
Yeah.
guys, if they do the wedding, the like Awoshikun, Detmer, Reese, they're all gonna get their moments if they do the
Mm-hmm.
wedding. I'm telling you, which they're probably not gonna do. But
Yeah.
if they do that, I will lose my mind.
I hope they do. I want them to have more moments, but they only have so many episodes left. So
Right, right, right.
I'm
How many episodes do we have left?
I had a list of one, two, six.
Okay. So
I mean, that's really not that many in the grand scheme
yeah,
of things.
Yeah, we
not
only
that
got two
many.
more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, jeez.
Okay. I will so yeah, I think that was our final thoughts. Everyone should go see hang out with Stan and the salon crew at the salon. The Father put the link in the chat. So Live long and prosper, everyone.